Hello, I'm Hay, and we'll get right into it with the review for All the Bright Places. All the Bright Places comes to us from director Brett Haley, who's done a couple of films that I've sort of enjoyed. Notably, the two big ones that I've seen are The Hero and Hearts Beat Loud, which were two very interesting stories that had me really excited for this film. Unfortunately, I was a little disappointed. However, I will say I was sort of put on the expectation of, okay, this might not be the best when it was supposed to have a theatrical release and then it was slated to be released exclusively on Netflix. You do kind of turn your head and wonder, what happened there? And it sort of makes sense. Unfortunately, this does feel a little bit more like John Green Light in a lot of negative ways, unfortunately. With that said, there's still some charm here. I actually kind of like Justice Smith a little bit. That's not to say he's great. I think this is a pretty capable actor. He just hasn't been given the role to shine yet, unfortunately. And I really do hope, because I do think he's pretty good in Detective Pikachu, and even Paper Towns. I feel like he's the best part as an actor, just because he's allowed to have fun and relax. And unfortunately, I don't feel like that was the case here. He's definitely given a broader range acting wise, but I just for whatever reason I don't think the direction was as good. And maybe that's just because the source material they didn't adapt it well or something. I'm not familiar with this book. I didn't even know it was a book until I looked it up right before I was doing this review. You could have told me this was them trying to be John Green, as mentioned, John Green Light. But no, it's from a different author. So really interesting, I guess, that they adapted this. I will say, other than Justice Smith, Ellie Fanning is also in a lead role. She is okay. I say that because I've seen her act pretty solid in other films. I mean, you look at something like Super 8, you look at something like 20th Century Woman, and she has acting capability. There's some scenes where she's solid, and then there's other scenes where she feels a little bit emotionless and not in like a required from that performance way, unfortunately. And I think overall, part of the problems is this film does hit some highs in the story, but it really gets lost in some muddy other points where it tries to tackle some more weightier subject. And I feel like it just really didn't take as much time establishing those things to make them feel like they have gravitas to them, and they don't feel as important because of that. And I will say, I do like what it's trying to tackle. I do like the direction that this story tried to go. There's no real shying away from certain things, but with that said, I don't know if it's me necessarily disliking the book or just disliking the way they adapted this. But I was just overall sort of let down even more. Even though I knew this was coming out on Netflix, I knew the critical reception wasn't great. I still was going in with a little expectations. And there's parts of this that definitely live up to that, I will say. There's moments where it's like, oh, well, I see why I wanted to like this. And, I think it's just a combination of, me liking Brett Haley's last two films and sort of rooting for Justice Smith after Detective Pikachu. I will say additionally, Alexandra Shipp, who's Storm in the X-Men films, and also she's in Love, Simon. She's in here, small role. Still like to see her. I think she's a very capable actress. She's great in Love, Simon, and hopefully she gets more screen time. I would hope. Hopefully, fingers crossed. And additionally, oddly enough, Michael Key has a pretty solid performance in here. It's similar to Craig Robinson in Timmy Failure. And I think they could have done a little bit more with that dynamic, maybe even because Michael Key is so solid. And surprise, Luke Wilson. Wow, my brother's in this film. Just showing up in a Netflix movie. Go figure. But the rest of the cast is fine. One of the kids of Fincher or Finch is sorry Finch. Got David Fincher on the mind, I guess. But one of the friends of Finch is actually pretty solid for what a friend needs to be. But ultimately, I feel like some parts of this feel a little bit rushed, unfortunately, and that just leads to a little bit of a messy project that again, I sort of wish the best for something like this. You want to see these films succeed, and unfortunately, this isn't it. Try again, Brett Haley, next time, because you're still a capable director. But that's probably going to do it for this review. I wouldn't actively seek it out on Netflix, but maybe if you like the Fault in Our Stars-esque teen YA drama type things, this might scratch that itch. But anyway, that's going to be my review for All the Bright Places. If you guys want to check more reviews out, feel free to do so. They will be posted here in a second. And thank you guys for checking this out. Bye.